Okay. Today is August 17th, 2023. This is the Webster Planning Board meeting. I want to thank you all for coming. It's always good to see residents come. Let's record attendance. Well, first of all, would you sit in for Mr. King, who's absent?
Yes, I will. Teresa Fenimore.
Yes.
Susan Youngs?
Craig Fournier?
Adam Mock.
All right, we have 4, which is a quorum here, so we're ready to go. Evans driveway is item number 4 here.
Okay, the question came up about the apron that the town requires on the end of the driveway. First thing I'd like to know is, why is that apron important to the town? What's the purpose?
Well, I can make a guess, and you can help me out with, or maybe you have a good answer for that one.
I know when I was the road agent, we always sloped it, made sure it pitched back like a couple, 3 inches, 4 feet. And that's how it usually, the reason, and so the water doesn't run down and then out into the road. There's a little bit of dip off the.
I'm referring to the paved apron.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
talking to the pavement, your
Okay.
road, coming off the main road, pitching it back, just tapering it back, so the water doesn't run like right out of your driveway right into the road. So
Okay.
it's got a little bit of a pitch going back off the pavement and then starting up.
Okay, well, going through driveway regulations, permit requirements, section 4, paragraph B2 says, if the planning board and the Webster Fire Chief find the driveway as proposed in the driveway permit application to be compliant with all relevant requirements, they will sign the driveway construction permit section of the form pending any additional requirements they deem appropriate. Now, there's no mention in the driveway permit or on my driveway plan that was approved of needing the apron. It says, in the case of a driveway intersecting a state road, issuance of a state driveway permit shall be regarded as compliance with the Webster requirements for the design of the driveway street intersection. Again, there's no state requirement. A letter was sent to the town. I have a copy of that email that came from the gentleman that works for the state for this section. It says they do not require an apron on a state road. So, that backs up that state road, you don't require it. In addition, specifications for the driveway, it talks about having the apron. The next section, the next paragraph, next sentence is, no alteration of the pavement of a town road shall be made without the approval of the Webster road agent. It appears to be the context of a town road in the driveway regulation. Additionally, I was going back through planning board minutes. I found July 21, 2011. There was a paragraph in there where Mr. Buckley clarified the plans should address, this was referring to, I think, Blackberry Lane, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Clarified that the plans should address how the driveway aprons are done and how they interface with the road, not the whole driveway. Mr. Cummings further clarified that they were discussing about the driveway apron. What they were discussing about the driveway apron was everything that was included in the town's right-of-way for driveways in the driveway regulation. All appearances are, that refers to town roads only. Battle Street being a state road, it shouldn't apply.
Although the email from the state did say that, I don't have it in front of me, something to the effect that the town, that he wasn't familiar with
It's,
what the
Town
town, oh, it
regulations.
was here?
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, what the town required. And so, am I not seeing?
I've got it.
Okay, there it is. Town of Webster and its planning board may have additional requirements for driveways constructed within its borders. So it sounds like towns are still allowed to make requirements on state roads.
Right, but your Your policy also says, in case of a driveway intersecting the state road, issuance of the state driveway permit shall be regarded as compliance with the Webster requirements. That's the Webster policy.
And we had an approval.
And
by the state.
we had an approval with no mention of the
Where
neighbor.
we need Paul.
Well, we've,
You had the approve, is it already been fully, did they sign off on it?
No, that's the whole issue.
Okay, so there's where you don't have, that
Right.
Emmett and Paul always have to sign off on the driveways.
Right,
Right.
but
Yeah,
the
that's
drive,
right.
the application was approved as designed.
Yeah, so I don't know how it was designed or whatever, but I mean, it's gotta have, Paul or Emmett are gonna be the ones that are gonna sign off on your driveway, and that would have to be paved, cause I know the state road, the Pearsons up here, all had to pave the end of their new houses that they put in up there, all three of them.
Oh, and
That's
that's
a
a
state
state
road.
That's a state road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Until
but it wouldn't have
that.
been a state requirement.
and we've
It
already,
doesn't matter if it's a requirement by the state, it's by the town.
we've always required
Yeah,
driveways to have that apron.
Well,
Okay,
I took a drive today, and I found,
Well, there's probably a lot of driveways that predated,
yeah.
you know,
A lot of
so-
grandfathered.
since 2007, I know it was in there in 2007. I found at least 6 driveways on Battle Street built since 2007. One on Long Street, doesn't have an apron. And there was one on Tyler Road that went 2 years with no apron. They just paved the driveway, but it's 2 years after that was approved. So there's instances where people have been approved without having an apron.
yeah, so I don't know how, I mean, that
That
would be Paul and Emmett's decision.
Yeah, what's,
How that shakes.
what,
people don't
why,
always
why
let
are
it
you, why are you up against this so much? I mean,
Because it's probably gonna cost me somewhere between $500 to $1,000 for something that's not a state requirement. If I was on a town road, I wouldn't have an argument. And I can't see spending that much money right now, you know, for something that, as far as I can see, I don't need.
Any other comments?
I am a little concerned about the precedents that he brought up. It's just my concern. I understand that, the town has the ultimate say, and that's what the state's telling you. This is what we want, this is what we approve. However, they're also saying it's up to your town as well. And what the state's doing is giving the town the ability to have a little bit of flexibility, and I know that's not what you wanna hear.
No,
But I hear your second part too, let me finish, please.
Yeah.
This is two sides of the argument, which is why the board needs to discuss it. You have the side where the state is saying the town also has a say, and that's what that email says. But also what you bring up is a really good point, that some of the driveways were not done in this manner. So we have two sides of the devil's advocate, and that's why the board, I believe, needs to have a conversation regarding both sides.
Now, I understand that the town has a say in the driveway.
Yes.
The town has regulations for over 300 feet driveway, you have to have
Yeah.
a passing zone, so on, I understand that. I understand the town has their own grade requirements, I understand that. This is the road intersection. It's just the road intersection, and the whole purpose of that, as you believe, isn't to satisfy the town, your purpose is to satisfy the town, but I'm dealing with the state.
Yes. I see another reason that skirting is a good idea. It allows assistance for emergency vehicles to and from, especially in the wintertime with snow bankings.
How does the
I
apron?
thought skirting was the exterior of the driveway going into the driveway, the width. I didn't realize it's the pitch. Skirting isn't the side.
The pitch is a regulation both on the state and the town.
Yeah,
So I meet the pitch.
right, good. We'll agree there. We agree there.
You know,
Um,
the whole issue is the asphalt.
Right.
right? So the trouble is now, right, and I'm not trying to go against the grain, but we've made these other people
Yeah.
do all this before they could get an occupancy permit for their house,
Right.
state roads.
Right.
And it's not,
Yes.
Yeah, I think
the
that-
other ones that have let slide, see, I don't know anything about these,
Or
you know,
when
Right.
it's
they
like
were.
Yeah,
where they
yeah.
are or how this all,
how it came
how
about.
it came about.
This is where we would need somebody who,
Been here, done that.
like Paul and Emmett, who
Yeah.
can say, are we going to insist that those people who don't have them add one? You may make,
So,
But, you know, I have to go back to the language of your policy.
right,
You know, the way your language reads, it's for town roads. That's the way your language reads. And that's the important thing according to the law, is language.
I don't think we can make the decision tonight.
We do
Right.
need, yeah, we do need to look into it, but yes, you make a valid point, which is why we need to look into it.
Yeah.
If you didn't have these valid points, we would right off the bat say, you're wrong. But you have valid points, so we should discuss it,
yeah.
appreciate
let's-
yes.
Let's put, I'm hearing the same thing, let's put this off
Yeah.
until we have a chance to talk with the road agent and our other, Paul King, who, along with Mr. Bean, looks at driveways and stuff. See what they say.
Yeah. Yeah, technically, we haven't finished the driveway yet because my excavation contractor's gonna be removing more dirt from the sides. So I don't wanna put the final coat on until he's done carting stuff out of it.
Is-
I don't blame you.
Is it gonna be a gravel driveway or paved?
It's gonna have to be gravel for now anyways, you know, it's not in my budget.
Okay.
Everything has gone up since I started.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, thank you for coming, and we're gonna have to get back to you on this.
I'll send you a copy of what I've got here, how I interpret your regulations.
Yeah, that would be good. Send
Yeah,
it
just
to,
send it to me and I'll get it to the board.
Okay,
and thank you for coming.
thank you. No. So that's it on this topic, right?
Yep, yep.
All right, thank you.
You're, everybody was for that one thing?
Yep.
We were curious, we're building, so.
On a state road.
Oh, that's,
Great.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben's father,
Who?
Dougie Smith.
Oh, now I know. I should have talked to them while they were here.
Yeah, I looked at that.
Correct.
He's doing
Where
the
is that?
driveway there.
Yeah.
I looked
That's
at
the
that.
subdivision we just did. Ben Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So Emmett wants them to refile their building permit or their driveway permit under their name since they're the ones who are gonna end up building.
oh,
So
okay.
the driveway permit should be under their name, not Ben Smith. It's a small
Yeah.
thing. But we can get that fixed.
I looked at that and I said to him that I wasn't gonna sign the permit. But until I wanted to see more what, because they gotta put in a 15-inch culvert and
Yeah.
there's kind of a bank that has to be
Yeah,
cut.
yeah,
But I told him to go ahead and start doing the work,
yeah. It's not
Is
gonna
it?
hurt anything,
yeah.
you
And I
know?
haven't received a state permit for that one yet either.
He said he had.
No, I didn't see
Oh,
it.
you haven't?
Normally,
You
the state sends it to me
Oh,
via email or they mail it to me. So I usually get to see it before they start working.
If they don't have one, they'll be in trouble, cause I've been there.
Yeah. I know.
you
I
know,
had a job all done and it was like, they
Which
got
is
after
kind
me.
of surprising because on this side they do that, but then on the other side of Battle Street, there's somebody who doesn't have a state permit in their driveway and they haven't done anything.
is this DeBella?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say names, but yeah.
Well,
So what do
I
you think we should, what do you think?
look at that every time
well,
I drive by. to
he's
see-
right. Excuse me, he's right about our regs saying,
On a state road, no apron.
yeah,
Well-
well, no, it's that,
That if the state, getting a state permit satisfies the
town.
The town.
permit, that's the language, and, it shouldn't say that. It should say, getting a state permit is a prerequisite to getting a town permit,
And that's all it should say.
and that's all it should say.
Too
Yeah.
late to change it now.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, for these people.
All right,
So what do you think we should, I know that Paul and Emmett aren't here.
I'm inclined to throw it to them, say.
Okay.
Say, what do you think? And I don't know, I'm interested to know what you think.
So I think right now, the way it reads, I mean, this is a tough decision because one, I don't see anything that says that an apron wouldn't be required in our regulations for a state road. It just says, if the state approves it, we approve it. And it counts as matching ours, but I don't think it's specific enough to go either way. I'm trying to come up with a way to say this, it's just,
Okay,
I'm in
so
the same
like-
boat the rest of the board is, it's just,
So like, how about
that's
the
why I
rest of
threw
these
it to the
people
board,
that
if I
we've
could've made an
made-
easy decision.
We've made them do that 3 different driveways right up here on.
Right,
I mean, it might be
Yeah.
a good
Right.
question for
I mean,
town
I hear
council
both
or
of you saying the
NHMA.
same thing about precedents, if we let
precedence
this
is
one
really
go.
important. It's really hard to enforce a rule that is enforced inconsistently.
Yeah,
And that was my point, and I didn't wanna get in a sticky point, but really, it has to be a consistent rule to be a forcible rule.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting
Yeah.
to know which driveways have gotten approved
Right.
since we put in that apron
Well, a
requirement.
lot of
Correct,
driveways
correct.
got approved with the apron requirement on Battle Street, but not everybody ever comes back to get their final inspection. And not everybody's building a house.
Uh-huh.
Some people are just putting driveways in.
I think he's got a valid legal point here.
He does, he
Yeah.
does,
He does.
for both reasons, one, what, it's a state road, and two, because it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
I'm just hesitant to make a decision without having Paul and Emmett's
I
feedback.
agree.
Yeah, I mean, it may go in a guy's favor, let's
It
face it.
it has to be consistent going forward too.
In
I
a
guess
roundabout
whatever.
way, I guess
Yeah.
the way that I kinda see it, I mean, it's just my opinion of it, that they got the state permit, we're not given the permit for the driveway, the state is, so
Yes.
technically what the state wants,
And the state
that's the one they
maintains it.
should be.
Yeah, and it
The
doesn't
state
affect our
maintains it.
maintenance.
Doesn't
That's
affect
my
our
opinion,
maintenance at
yeah.
all.
Good point.
Yeah,
All right, so,
And does the state actually plow up?
Yep, no, we take care of it in the winter, it's summer maintained, and that road is, we winter maintain that in Tyler Road.
But we don't winter maintain,
No,
127
one
is
twenty-seven.
So
not.
maybe-
It's not.
maybe there's where the difference needs to be. That in,
Versus summer maintained
well, if
versus
we have to
winter.
maintain it at all, then I think we ought to be able to set
Correct,
requirements.
correct.
That just makes sense,
Yeah,
because it's our equipment, it's our road edge that is gonna cause trouble.
yeah,
Oh, I have a neighbor who's quite cranky because we had such a washout, like this deep on the side of our road. And it's happened twice this summer,
Yeah,
and it got fixed, and that happened again, and it's washing into his yard.
Oh, that explains an email I got. Okay, thank you, that's the
Might
other
it have
side.
been from a Fallon?
Oh, it wasn't a Fallon.
Oh, okay, there's probably, well, because then his son, who lives right next door, their whole driveway washed out,
Yeah,
and they couldn't get out their driveway.
yeah.
oh, wow.
We have this issue in that there's no ditch on my side of the road.
Yeah.
Even though there's a culvert by my driveway. So the water runs across the road and down the other side where there's also
I
no
think we had a
ditch.
lot of damage in that storm. We had
Yes.
FEMA come out and they've taken a look at it, especially the Roby Road. And it's causing a lot of problems right now because
Yeah.
we just don't have the money on top
Yes.
of our normal budget to fix that.
Yes,
So we're hoping FEMA's gonna bail us out, but we haven't heard anything about that. So things are a little tight on the bill
yes,
straps
I'm
right
not
now,
surprised.
especially with the road budget at the moment. But we'll work through it.
That's
Okay.
right.
so, let's move on to item
Yep.
5, future zoning, town's future 5-acre zoning. Anybody have opinions they want to express?
I think 3 is a realistic.
Is a
If
compromise.
you're
number?
looking at growth, and you're thinking about, you do need the well and the septic and all, because we don't have the community services, I think 3 is a good compromise.
Yeah. Susan?
And it was 3 at one time.
Oh, you have any opinions?
Yeah, these flies are really annoying in
We
here.
have had, since last week, there was a lot of people coming in and out, contractors, and then we had a party on weekend, and
That's
everything's,
what
the doors have been open.
Yeah.
We've had horrible flies. There's no food or anything in town hall, we just had the pest people
We just
checking
need a
out.
few of those fly tapes hanging.
I know.
I think Brenda's picking some up to put
That's,
in the town office,
They're not
but the
attractive,
pest
but
person
hey.
said there's no food out, there's nothing that's gonna cause them to breed. They have a short life cycle, so they're just eventually
They'll be
gonna fall
gone.
dead.
all right.
Right.
Well, I agree that as much as we want Webster to stay rural, it seems that there ought to be ways for people to have more houses in town and still keep it rural. So maybe the 3 acres
Yeah.
would be the way to do it. That or we've talked before about cluster developments, just a little bit, and those make sense to me, because especially if it's like blueberry, blackberry, whatever it is, I can never remember, that it's one intersection with the state road. From the state road, it looks like one driveway. It doesn't look like a town, like an urban area.
Development.
Yeah, and so, but,
Yeah, I'm in favor of 3 acre. I don't think it makes much difference either way, really.
What do you think?
That used to be 2.5 years ago. That's what it was way back.
mhm.
I know it was.
Yeah, 2.5 acres.
Yeah.
And once it hit the 5 acre thing, that kinda let
It
people
slowed
out in the
everything
dust,
down.
cause it's like it's double or nothing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
whatever, you're not gonna be able to take and, it just, 5 acres is quite a little bit of
Yeah.
That's a
chunk
lot
of
of land,
land
yeah.
to buy, and then the thing of it is, you get taxed on 5 acres,
Right.
and there's no current use,
Mhm.
so that would add up tax-wise. But I like it quiet
Yeah.
and no neighbors.
So you like the 5 acres?
We just have to
instead?
buy up all the land, that's all.
I try to every time I get a chance. I'm
Well,
gonna
there's
decide,
a-
We've got a plot over on
100 and something
Little Hill Road
acres.
that you can
What
buy.
is that?
do you?
That's 100 and something acres.
Yeah,
But it's owned by a developer.
and they
Well,
want,
no, they put it up for sale. It's
Oh,
already
really?
up for
They
sale
got it
again.
up for sale.
Oh, wait,
Is that the Bardsley piece?
yeah, on the other side of the
Got it.
road from me, it's 129,
Something like that, yeah.
and they were asking 5.5 million, I think.
Oh, yeah,
5.5
that's a little
million.
bit.
I don't think they were
That's
asking,
not my
I think they were
That's-
offering 500,000 the last I looked at it.
Oh, you're right, 500,000, sorry.
Half a million.
But that was a Bardsley piece?
It was on the other, yep,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one was clear cut, I think, in the
Yeah.
past.
and it was auctioned, and the
Oh,
guy
yeah.
bought it at auction for pennies
And now he's
compared.
gonna make a nice chunk of change off
Well,
it.
he already sold
Oh,
it.
he already sold
He
it?
did, that wasn't a development company, I don't think. He must have sold it to a development company.
And then the development company's now trying to sell it.
Yeah, there's a
So-
sign out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna make a motion. And,
So does one quick question before you make your motion. Planning board decides acreage?
Well, we have to have a public hearing and then it has to
Okay.
go on the warrant and then. it has
Okay,
to
that's
be
what I
voted
thought,
on.
okay, I just wanted to double check.
Right.
So will you be putting it on the warrant this year? Is that,
So
Yeah.
that's the goal for this year. I have to look up the
Put it on the
scheduling to make
warrant.
sure we can make it, but I'm pretty sure we can make it as long as we hold our hearing in September or October.
yeah, we're in good shape for this to get
Yeah.
it in. Right.
you think we should have I know we discussed it, but do you think we should have outsiders, like the
I-
people in town,
I
hear
think
what
that's a pretty good
we're
idea.
doing?
Well, we'd
Or
have,
you
we'd
guys-
have to have a public hearing.
We have to
Right.
have a public
Public
hearing.
hearing.
Would have to have one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
just offhand, I think it would pass. I think there's enough.
Oh, yeah,
I
no,
do
there's
too.
no question
Yeah, yeah.
about it. I know some of the old planning board members, when it was, you know, they liked the 2.5 acre deal
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
And it definitely has shut down some kids that lived in town and they couldn't
Yeah,
do what they needed to do.
The only thing we might wanna still discuss is the road frontage requirements and that to go with the 2.5 acres.
all right,
Cause 2.5 acres with 250 feet of frontage is gonna be hard to do too.
yeah.
I
Or
think
3
that
acres, were you thinking 2.5 or 3?
Possibly used to be 200
thinking three.
feet,
It
wasn't it?
3, yeah.
He's saying it used to be 2.5, we're
Mhm.
talking about
Yeah,
three,
we're talking
we're
about
talking about reducing to 3.
3, and yeah, what would have to be the frontage?
Yeah, what would be the frontage of 3?
I mean, if you had a couple hundred feet, it seems like that would be
Well, that's-
quite a bit.
What is it now?
That's the hard part, is getting the
250.
frontage.
Yeah,
The frontage
that's gonna be, that will be 200, you know, 2.5 acres, 3 acres, but to get the
Yeah.
frontage on it, it's gonna be a mean deal, cause 250's quite a bit.
Yeah, how about,
we can look into
just
that
off the
number.
top of my head, 150?
150, I think, is what it used to be.
It used to be 150,
I think it was either 100 or 150.
yeah.
Well, if we do 3 acres at with 150,
I think
that's sort of a,
reasonable.
We should figure out what a
I mean, I can
A
talk to them.
a 3 acre plot, square plot, what's the side? How much is a,
I can talk
What's
to the
the
planning
distance?
commission, they should probably have some numbers about
No, you
that.
take-
well,
It
Acres, what, 2 by 2?
an acre
It's
Is
215 or,
43,500 square feet.
Yeah.
right?
Right,
something like that.
And-
So it's, what is it, 215 by 215 is an acre?
Yeah, I think that's right. But it doesn't scale because,
Right.
the depth might be much greater and,
so I'm guessing 150, maybe 125, something like that.
I like 150.
I do too.
I do. I was leaning closer to 200, but 150 I think is,
All right,
yeah. is-
So-
That's gonna be jamming houses and,
Yeah, if they did 200 square feet, it would help ensure that just one home per lot.
right,
If you did 200,
once you start getting
road
down that
frontage.
one,
yeah.
yeah.
that 150
Then
feet, you
you
know, you
might
can
try to
go
get a
depth
couple
to
in
get
there.
your
Yeah,
3
yeah.
acres,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's cutting
Yeah,
them off, like
Right.
stacking them
Well, that's
up.
what we've
and that's
had
why I was
with
thinking
the 250.
200 instead of the 150, that's why I was thinking 200 road frontage.
'Cause it's-
Well, as I see it, the problem is it's really hard to get road frontage.
I know.
It's more hard, that's harder to get than the
Than
actual
the
acreage.
Right,
So I'd be more inclined to go with 150.
okay.
It's like I'd like to go out, I wanna go out along a road and have somebody lay out, this is 150. And imagine how many houses that would be if,
Yeah. But some of these lots too, there's granite, there's ledge, there's hard to work with. But, yeah, 150 is good.
Any other discussion on this?
No?
All right, I'm gonna make a motion that the planning board approves and would like to move ahead with reducing 5 acres lot requirement to 3 acres and reducing the 250 road frontage to 150 road frontage.
Yeah,
we were
I'll
also-
second it.
All in favor?
I should,
I'm in trouble. That hand's heavy, isn't it?
the 150,
You think 200 is better?
I think
That was
200
my
is,
initial,
honestly, 200
Yeah.
feet would be, I mean, you know, this building,
Yes.
what's this here, you got shade, must
Yeah.
be 80 feet right here, roughly. So you add to that again, little bits, not much.
Do you wanna amend the motion?
I like the 200 too,
yeah,
seriously, yeah.
I can go with 200, but,
here's a
Yeah.
question.
but,
If we have the public hearing and we get a lot of feedback saying 200 is too much, please make it,
Can
at
we
that
do
point, we can
options?
adjust it.
Can we do a vote?
The final
vote?
language is determined after.
After the public
Correct.
hearing, then I'd
After.
say,
Yeah.
let's do
Can we do
200.
two options? Can we do an option of,
We can,
I'd rather not do two options, just
Yeah.
I think.
put it out there and
Okay. okay, yes
get
or
the
no?
feedback.
Yes, okay.
That-
So you're gonna stay
Okay.
at the 150?
No,
You go for the
I'm
200?
I'm gonna cave here.
Okay.
Good,
No,
good.
but I'm all good with that.
Good, me
I,
too. I feel better.
Well,
with 200.
I want us to be in agreement here, more than,
It would, the 150 that's right on the cutting edge
yeah.
of, so if you put a 30-foot wide driveway in, you know, then you've only got just not a lot on 50, 60 feet each way, right? Wouldn't that be?
Yeah,
60, 30 feet, that's 90, yeah, another 60 feet, you're at 150. 60 feet this is longer than 60 feet.
yeah, it is. This is more like 90 or something.
Yeah, so that's not it just seems like,
Driveways would be too close.
All right, so
Could be.
I'd like to amend the
You're amending your
motion
motion to
to be 200 feet road foot frontage. Do you wanna make that change and read
I
it
did.
back?
So I was gonna say, well, I small worded it. Reduce the 5 acre requirement to 3 acres and reduce the frontage requirements from 250 to 200 feet,
Yes.
is what the planning board's proposing.
I'll second that.
How do you say?
All right, all in favor,
Aye.
raise your hand.
I'm
Aye.
happier with this too.
I'm not trying to go against the grain, but I just,
No,
that's
I'm with
fine.
you.
That's fine.
I just think of what could be.
Well, you know, I respect everybody's opinion on this board, and
And this is where, I know some towns, what do they create, opportunity zones or whatever, and that is another thing we could think about.
Correct.
That, of making, and we've talked about that, an area where we
Well-
encourage.
Development.
yeah, I talked with Sue Roth about this whole idea.
What'd she think?
Like a
Well, she
village.
said, you know, one of the things you can do is create different zones. I
Yes.
mean, right now, the town is rural residential, the whole town.
Right.
So you can create areas that you want more dense development, you can create business
Yeah.
things. And she said the problem was nobody wanted to draw those lines.
Right, and,
Yeah.
and you know what the problem would be like that, and I'm not trying to be hard case. I have a lot of farmland, so everybody's gonna wanna see that left farmland. That takes, if this hits to, we're gonna do 3 acres and 200 feet, I mean, and I'll give you a perfect example, instead of getting 5 house lots on Allen Road, I could get 6. Okay, so, but if you put that in a zone that goes back to, then you're kinda discriminating against myself, just because I farm it, but that's an easy piece of land to develop. I mean, that just, so, in my farm itself, is
So
easy.
is that your corn back there?
Yeah. Yeah,
And it looked like that was kind of overgrown. Did you have to,
it was, that was just gray birch. When I bought that piece of land, you couldn't even walk through it without getting covered with ticks.
that's kind of.
And I've gone in and I cut it and cleared it and I've stumped it and,
Well, that's
I
a lot of work.
oh yeah, and it's not over. I'm gonna go back in if I have time this fall. I try to, every place that I own, I try to open it up a little bit more. And like the Silver Farm down there, if you drove by that, you see the corn out back of the barn, that's the first time for that. And next year, it's gonna go right to the woods if I have any kind of luck with it. And then my home piece, same thing. I've got, I'd like to put another great big field in that you can't see from the road for pasture, 'cause we're short of that. And that Allen Road lot is what will happen there. There's beef cows up there. another year or two.
Doing your work for you.
Yeah, well, it's crazy like to go there, bush hog it and
Yeah,
waste the grass.
yeah, right.
Right.
You know, when you got 150 head of, you gotta feed them every day.
Is that how many you got?
Yeah.
150?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this,
You are,
just had a baby this morning out of a real nice, it was just a show cow, and actually they took off, they're starting to hit the fairs now with them, so
Yeah.
that's great.
they're gone. So, it is all good,
Yeah.
so that's the only thing I could see with the zone part of things, but it's really, it's not gonna affect me, cause I'm not gonna do anything with it.
Right.
It's not for sale, you know.
Right.
It's not,
All
not my day.
Okay. Let's move on here. CIP update.
Well, I was hoping to have some reports back at this point, but I haven't gotten anything back from anyone.
Oh,
I know a little bit that the police department, I think, is gonna put in for a cruiser this year. And then we're gonna be skipping a year. I mean, it's just, remember, we had 2 cruisers that had to be bought in 1 year, so I think that's something we're gonna have to discuss with the police department at some point. I've talked to the Hopkinton, I've sent everything out to Hopkinton. They wanted our CIP committee to meet with their CIP committee and do maybe a joint meeting to discuss the transfer station. So that's in the process to set up, and then the one last thing I wanted to figure out is when the exact date we wanna hold the meeting is, so I can post it and let the volunteers know when they're gonna be there, so it's gonna be the same people from last year. So it's Barbara Corliss and
yeah.
Rob Walensky are gonna come back.
Okay, sounds good.
So
Yeah.
what day do we wanna have that meeting?
Oh, you wanna have it in September?
September.
Um,
So I was thinking either the 14th or the 28th.
I'd just as soon go sooner than later.
Yeah, me too, cause I'm gonna be tied up the end of the, at Freiburg Fair, so I'm not gonna be
Oh, you're
around.
gonna go up there?
I go for the week, that's the only, that's
Is that your
my,
vacation?
that's
eh?
my vacation. I don't take the whole week, but it's
Which week is that?
the first week of October, end of September, I believe.
So it'd be the 28th.
I would say so.
Are those the only 2 days of choice?
Well, we could do it on the 21st, which is our normal
That would be
planning board
wonderful.
meeting.
Yeah.
Do we all come?
Yeah.
But usually that's separate from the planning board, and we haven't gotten any applications, so I think the due date might already be passed.
So that would be the same planning
21st.
board meeting, the 21st?
21st would be the regular planning board
So
meeting.
can we do it would that work
The
with
only
you
thing I
guys?
hesitate about is if an application comes in for a subdivision. And then that'll leak that meeting right up.
Yeah, if you
I'm
get
gonna
a
be
sub,
gone on the 21st.
Oh,
if you get a
It's on
sub,
the 14th.
It's
Uh,
never perfect.
I know, it's never gonna be
It's
perfect.
never-
And I'm
Yeah.
an alternate, so you get clout.
I gotta look at a calendar.
let's go for the, well, what do you think?
I mean, it's up to you. I haven't got any subdivision applications. I think the
Alright.
deadline's coming up real quick before we would,
All right, so let's try the 21st. If we get a subdivision application, we'll have to move it.
yeah, I'll let you
Yeah.
know if we get one
Set
before the due
meeting.
date.
yeah,
I think
That's-
that makes it easy.
sounds good.
Since we'll all be here anyway, might as well.
Yeah, I'm all
Okay.
good with that.
So when are you doing it? Sorry, I'm,
21st.
okay, yeah.
Unless we get a subdivision application in, and then we're gonna switch it to the 14th or the 28th.
Okay. Either of
Because
those.
I need that week after the first, because nobody's gonna respond, and then I have to go and
All right,
get something.
I was gonna say, yeah, I could do either the 14th or the 28th, but I'll be in Iowa, hon.
Really?
High school,
Iowa?
50th high school reunion.
You see going to the fair out there?
No. One year I went to Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin state fairs. And boy, are the
big time.
Midwest fairs are
Yeah.
like
Yeah. way
gigantic.
different. Yeah,
It's awesome.
They got a million people going to the Iowa Fair.
It's awesome.
yeah. I'm going to Kansas City on the 14th.
Okay. Number 7, approval of the draft, well, first of all, is there any more discussion on
Yeah, I just
CIP?
needed some, I got what I needed.
Okay. Approval of the draft minutes from last month. Any-
Was I here last month?
No, you were
No,
your
you
mother.
I didn't think I was.
And I wasn't here, so I'm going to abstain.
Those minutes are pretty short too.
It was a
Because
very
nobody
short
was here.
meeting. There was nothing on the agenda,
Yeah,
I don't believe.
right.
Yeah. It was a very short meeting.
Oh, well, yeah, the only thing on the agenda was 5 acre zoning, but you guys didn't want to discuss it, cause
Yeah.
not everybody was here.
Right.
So, I move that we approve meeting minutes from last
Yeah.
month.
I second that.
All right. Are we having 2 in favor and 2 abstaining?
I think so.
All
it's
in
still
all in
passed.
favor, raise your hand.
I'm in favor of them, but I wasn't here, so.
you can
Exactly,
still
so
do
I thought
that.
I'd
Yeah.
All right,
It's up to you.
okay, so, other business, I have a couple things.
Yep,
I went before the select board last week, and I proposed, I wanted the select board's opinion, but there's a lot on Lake Winnipocket that goes from the boat put in down to those 2 rocks there. Everybody swims and there's 2 rocks out in, and there's some big pine and really nice looking pine. I mean,
Yeah.
huge. And I thought it would make a really wonderful picnic and swimming area.
Mm-hmm.
so is that, Austin land?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin family land.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And first of all, I got the select board's approval, because I didn't want to go behind anybody's back.
Yeah, yeah.
I said,
yeah,
this is what I'm gonna do, and they said, oh, it's a great idea, because a lot of people in town learn to swim in the Austin beach, and
Yep.
Right,
there's
right,
a lot
I
of good
did.
memories.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lessons there,
Yeah,
yeah.
and anyway, I talked with Peter Austin, who's a
Yeah.
resident here, and his first answer was no. Which is how you always get no first off, right? But he said he'd have to talk to his sisters, and I guess one lives in Dover and
Yeah.
one's actually summering on it. They have a cabin on the lake. I
yeah,
don't know where it is or what, but, so we sent him a letter. Sent a letter not only to Peter, but to the registered owner of the Austin Trust. And I think it's his mother, but I don't know, but it's in the Virgin Islands, so.
Oh my.
ain't
okay, so that's Judy Rantella, probably, or,
I think you're right.
yeah, yeah, so that's the land I bought off Judy, would have been Bob Austin's sister. And so she may probably perhaps own that piece? Or
Yeah,
does
there's-
Peter own it with
Well,
his-
the trust owns it, the family.
Yeah,
And what I'm interested in, they own several pieces. I walked an 87-acre piece.
Yeah.
That goes around, kind of goes around. And then the piece I'm interested in, which is a triangular piece, goes from the boat put in,
Yeah.
up to the rock. That's all I'm interested
Are
in.
you talking about the rock that's back in there where everybody goes and climbs on it and jumps off? and
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one where there used to be a sign that said private, but everybody was walking?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
no
you just
trespassing
need to-
sign
Yeah,
on a
you just
big
need to
pine tree
change
there.
that.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's, I think, that's just for liability purposes. Somebody
Yes.
gets hurt, they can say,
yeah,
you shouldn't have been there.
Correct. Yeah.
But everybody goes there, but families, kids,
Yep.
For years.
for years. So I just
Yeah.
thought, if the town doesn't, this is one of the few opportunities to get a public beach on Winnipocket. And if we can't get it, so be it, but, it's gonna get developed and then that goes away, right?
I think it would be great.
Oh, yeah, so the select board thought it would be good too. So I'm gonna give it another try, see what happens. Without looking around for money or assistance, it's not worth looking around unless we get some kind of agreement that they wanna sell it
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
so I gotta back that up on the Virgin Islands, that's Peter's sister over there, I believe.
I don't know any of these people.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
I know we've sent stuff to the
because
Virgin Islands and
Judy
we haven't heard back.
Rantella's in Hawaii,
Oh,
that's where she is.
So,
Are you thinking, a swim at your own risk kind of thing? Or
yeah, it would,
lifeguards?
yeah, there wouldn't be any lifeguard there. That would just be some
Swim
picnic
at your own
tables.
risk,
We'd
yeah.
probably put in some parking.
Signs. Mhm.
Probably fix up that road, put stone dust out to the rocks there.
Oh, okay.
You know, just
Yeah.
nothing, we're not gonna put any buildings or
No,
anything like
no.
that. Just-
Trash cans,
Yeah.
Well, if
so,
you put
I mean,
trash
like,
cans,
You got
cleaning
people in
it up.
trash, yeah.
What, it'll have to
Like-
be, we'd have to
Carry
say
in,
carry
carry
in,
out.
carry out.
Mhm.
how about
Yeah.
like the parking, where are they gonna park?
well, there's gonna have to be, right by the boat area there, there's a bunch of junk trees that can be, you can, I think,
Okay,
mean,
so
people use it-
crossing over that culvert as you come off Plains Road and headed up, isn't that that's private road, correct, right from the start to end?
yeah.
And so, don't they have issues with that pipe over there or something? Is there problems with dirt going in the lake?
I have heard of a different road with dirt going into
There's-
the lake. I'm
There's,
not sure about that particular road.
he's right, there's two roads there. The left-hand road goes out
Goes
to
to
a
the-
couple houses
yeah.
along the lake.
Yeah,
The other, I believe, is an old town road,
yeah.
Yes,
it
they
is.
close.
And that's,
That-
that's
Pond
the,
Hill.
Pond Hill Road, and it
that's
washed.
emergency
and-
lane, cause it washes out and then
Yeah.
it pollutes the lake. So we barely maintain it to make sure it doesn't wash out and pollute the lake.
Yeah, and who lives up there? That's,
I'd have to check the tax maps. I don't know.
That
off the
was
top of my head.
Peter's old house, and I should know the guys that scale it over to Henniker, HHP. I know him well, but mind blank, it just,
yeah. So I just want you to make aware that that's sort of in the works.
I think that's a
It would be
great
nice
idea.
to have a town beach.
Yeah, Town Beach.
Cause it kinda
Um,
used to be.
And it is being used as a town beach.
Exactly. It has some momentum.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the right word, but, you know, people are familiar with it. They know, oh, yeah, yeah. So I think if we could get some kind of sale lease agreement, that works.
Yeah.
The other item of business that I wanted to bring up was, over on Centennial Drive, remember that, what's his name, LaFleur or something? The guy that,
Is this the guy who wanted to build in a swamp?
yes,
That's, Shea.
what's his
Edison.
name?
Edison Shea.
Edison Shea, yeah, Edison, I
Oh.
remember Edison.
Oh,
And-
yes.
And I drove by there on my bike on Sunday, and he had hired a guy with a backhoe, and they were basically putting in a driveway there. And I told the guy, I said, you need a driveway permit here, buddy. And I said, you know, we talked about this, that there's gotta be a culvert in
Yes,
there.
it's great, yeah.
And there has to be, you know, there's certain things that has to happen here. So,
Screening, yeah.
I was gonna bring that up at the select board at the next meeting.
Because he got a letter from us once.
Right.
About, and he said, oh, no, I'm not doing.
He said, oh no, I'm not doing it, and now Emmett and Greg, cause Emmett brought it up to me before I went on vacation. And I was gonna do it after I went on vacation, to go bring it up to the select board, cause they're the code enforcement body.
there's no
Yeah.
sleeping dogs in town, so tell him.
No,
well, the guy's a hard guy to work with. I mean, he came in here trying to bullshit us, really.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Bottom line, you could tell that right when he sat down.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he said, oh,
It's
I'm
just
gonna
gonna,
put some-
I'm gonna park things there.
yeah, park, I'm gonna store some kayaks there. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Still think I have.
We're not stupid.
So anyway, I'm glad that somebody's working on that.
Yeah, that's the next meeting.
I think we should just maybe dump a few big rocks and be done with it.
We could.
I used to live on the corner of Centennial, back in the eighties. Yeah.
Any other business?
No, we got an email from Dana about a complaint on,
I didn't know about this one.
what, sorry?
I said, I don't know about this one. It must have happened while I was gone.
Yeah, it was just within the last couple of days, and it was about on, I can never remember, it's Long Street and then Water Street? Or is it Water and then Long,
Is it-
as you're going from here?
Is
towards
it a
Boston.
Pond Hill Culvert, is that you're talking?
No, no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
that's a different
it's about that, land where the red house that got bought and then all of
The
the
Burts.
stuff. A neighbor has complained, and I didn't know,
Correct.
is that something we have to deal with?
So
Or is that select
that, the neighbor was saying that they were operating
A
an
business.
illegal business there. They came into a select board meeting, they said they were only getting their business mail there, and then I came back and said, well, the Secretary of State says that's where your primary offices are. And they said, well, it's not supposed to say that, so they went back to the Secretary of State and changed it. So they're not operating a business there, the husband drives trucks, and he brings his truck home at night and parks it when he's done his work, as opposed to driving it all the way back to his
Uh-huh.
business in Bow and then driving his car back to the house, he just parks his truck there overnight. And there are a couple other parked trucks out there, but,
Couple, there's quite
There.
a few.
I know,
There's a whole lot of,
It's a fleet, what are you talking about?
yep,
Yeah, but it's
So that was
not
being-
anywhere near as bad as down at the foot of the hill up there, or by the melon company. The guy
I know
that's
what you're talking
running
about.
Oh.
the junkyard out of there.
Well, that person, I think is, I can't get more into it, but let's just say that is resolving itself.
Gonna go away or gonna get worse?
I think it's going to get better if Neil Frost, I think it was Neil Frost's old land. If
Yeah.
since he passed, his daughters are sort of
Yeah.
trying to deal with that situation.
Yeah. But Bert,
But I'm hesitant to go after the property owners when they're already trying to deal with it.
yeah, yeah.
Bert does have a shop in Bow though, that's where
He does.
his stuff is all,
And that was the other thing he mentioned, that some of the trucks that he moved up here was because they had people stealing things from the trucks
Yeah.
and stealing parts off them from down there, but, so. It's more than this, it's a little bit of a complicated issue.
Yeah,
And the select board is working on it, so.
see, it's the trouble, you can't hide it, like, and
Especially
they
big
do
truck.
steal stuff.
Yeah.
I left a truck over there to Knights Meadow Marsh and they blew that thing all to hell with, shot it right to death. You would have thought that thing was.
oh, use it as a target for.
Yeah, they did, they ruined it.
Where was that?
Over
Knights
to
Meadow.
Knights Meadow Marsh,
Oh, that's awful.
yeah.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it's probably been 10, maybe a little longer than that, 10, 12 years.
Wow.
They
They
stole
had-
all the lights off my excavator, the loader, they just,
Oh,
There
you
were
can't
kids-
have
There
anything
were
unless
kids
you can
breaking
see
into
it.
cars too recently in town.
It just,
Yeah, how about Chuck Rose's, I've seen those things on Facebook that
Yeah.
got burned, equipment that,
Yeah,
was
I
that
don't
in
know.
Webster?
I don't know.
No,
Was it? I think
Salisbury.
it was.
It was Salisbury.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about what happened with
Yeah.
that.
nothing,
Nothing?
nothing, it just,
It's a shame.
the way it goes, it's, you can't have anything,
No.
right? You gotta even lock your cows in, that's how bad it is.
Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if you remember, I guess it was last winter or maybe last fall, Michelle Tremblay had a Zoom.
Ah,
And she
yeah, I
came in,
meant to make copies of that today, but I didn't bring that.
she,
information.
her issue that she wanted was short-term rentals. She wanted
Yes.
some language put out because, about regulating short-term rentals. And a lot of towns with, sort of like over on the coast and Conway and Hanover and something, have more rental properties. They've adopted short-term rental ordinances. But I don't know if you remember, we sort of talked about it and nothing much came of it. We
Yeah.
kind of dropped it.
That's good,
Yeah.
But the
good it
point,
goes away.
the point that she made, and I don't remember, it's so long ago, I don't remember what was said, okay?
Right.
But she felt kind of dismissed and demeaned.
Oh, that's so
And-
bad.
And again, I don't know, but I'm just saying, I'm just bringing this up because she brought it up. And I just want to warn everybody that we need to treat everybody with respect, you know.
That's a good one.
We don't want to get a reputation as,
I thought we did treat her fairly well. I mean, it's not a Conway, we're not in Conway, you know?
Yeah, I guess I'd like to know, because I know that it is a really big issue in a lot of places. But I don't know if it's been an issue here.
you're talking about short-term rentals or talking about business people?
Short-term rentals. Yeah, and so I feel like I agreed with her. I think that it might be worth at least considering.
She forwarded a whole bunch of references. Some of them are pretty good. I can forward that to you if you want to take
I mean,
look
I
into
get
it a
the
little
whole
more.
board, I was just trying to, I'm trying to get all the links out of it and make it look good for the board, rather than a chain of emails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can forward it and take a look at it and see if you think we need to do anything.
Yeah,
But the main point that I'm concerned about,
Is-
not so
is
much
treating her.
is how we treat people.
Yes.
yeah.
And I don't want to get the reputation of disrespect. That's all I got.
Okay.
I move that we adjourn.
I second the motion. All in favor, raise your hand.
Always the quickest motion.
It's getting dark out, isn't it?
It's 26,
It's dark out in the morning.
Yeah.
yeah.
Time's getting short, and the deer are right out in the field during the day eating just as much as they can. So you know what that means?
Fat
We're in
deer.
for a long winter.
Oh, really?
I hope so.